welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Dadcast. Our weekly podcast, sometimes bi-weekly podcast, where we talk video game, movie, TV news, toy news sometimes. All depends on what's going on. We're almost to sweater weather. Today was chilly enough to where I could wear my King Griffey Jr. baseball sweatshirt from Baseballism, so I was excited to finally get to do that because it fits the theme of the channel. Damn it, wrong side. Video games. It's even. Turn around so you can see. You got the pixelated number back there. But yeah, video games and baseball, and Ken Griffey Jr. is my favorite baseball player, so it works. It fits. So, in the Dadcast today, we're going to cover a few things from Star Wars Outlaws to The Last of Us Season 2 on HBO, and a few things in between. Got everything on my phone here. So we're going to start off with Star Wars Outlaws. The sales, up-to-date sales, are only about 1 million copies sold. And for a Star Wars video game, especially one that takes place during the original trilogy timeline, it's a little shocking that they only sold about 1 million. It's one of those things that I would have expected to do more sales, but it's one of those things like, has Disney really damaged the Star Wars brand? Because Outlaws, like I talked about it on the podcast before, it looks interesting. It looks like a game I want to play, but I don't want to pay $60-$70 for it. It's, games are expensive, the economy's in the shitter, groceries are expensive, gas expensive. You got to pick and choose what you buy, and one of those things that I'm not buying a lot of is games that I'm not super excited about. And Star Wars Outlaws happens to be one of them, even though it takes place in the time frame that I really like Star Wars. So I'm waiting for like a Black Friday sale on that one, and maybe that's what a lot of people are doing too. But normally like a new Star Wars games, like a AAA Star Wars game comes out, it sells a bunch. Jedi Survivor, one of those that sold a bunch. Even the Battlefront games that EA did that pissed off a lot of people with the microtransactions, those sold really well. So this could just be, maybe this wasn't something people were interested in playing, or Disney with its faltering steps with the Star Wars brand has hurt video game sales too. And I'm sure Ubisoft paid a lot for the license to do this game, so they're only selling 1 million. I mean, gross is going to be $70 million. I guarantee you they paid a lot for that Star Wars license, several million, and then you got to count in marketing. You've got to count in, so they didn't make $70 million. Who knows what they actually made, but probably barely enough to cover that licensing fee. So their profits are probably pretty slim on that game. So it's kind of sad to see Star Wars in such a state. As I said in previous podcasts when I was talking about the Acolyte and stuff like that, I really don't get down on Disney Star Wars. I read them way back in the 90s, the Thrawn trilogy, the Heir to the Empire stories, stuff like that. And I wait till Audible will give me like 3 months for 99 cents a month. And it's always like every other month too. Like I'll do one, and then I never pay $15 a month for Audible. And I've been re-listening to the Thrawn trilogy right now, and I'll probably get some other Legends Star Wars books from back in the day that were really enjoyable for myself and many others to read. So I don't worry about Disney Star Wars too much. It does suck that it's affected newer product coming out. And in all honesty, I would love, like how we're getting from Bethesda, we're getting the Indiana Jones game in December. I would love for a Star Wars game to come out and just recapture the original trilogy. Like, let us play as Han, Leia, Chewie, Luke, Lando, the Ewoks even, but not in a Battlefront EVP or EVE thing like that, but like single player, story driven, maybe even like co-op, kind of like what Space Marines does. You've got the 3 main characters for Star Wars, Leia, Han, and Luke. Maybe you can do like 3-player co-op for that. But yeah, that's what I kind of want. Like, I don't want a game set during the original trilogy where I'm playing as some new character. I want a game where I play as Luke, where I play as Han, where I play as Leia, where I'm Lando, like the old Super Nintendo Star Wars games, where you kind of got to play as all of them. that is something I am really hoping for. So that's kind of the first piece of topic out of the way. Let me know what you think in the comments down below about that. Did you get Outlaws? Do you like it? Should I buy it at $60 or should I wait for a sale? Kind of thing like that. Let me know, because that's a game I am interested in, but I don't think I'm interested in paying $60 for it. So let me know what you think about that. And do you think Disney has damaged the Star Wars brand beyond repair, or does it take like a knight in shining armor like Deadpool and Wolverine has done for the MCU to reinvigorate the hardcore fans to get back into going to the movies, watching the shows, buying the video games? Like, I do know that my purchasing of LucasArts stuff, action figures, you can see my Indiana Jones ones back there, and there's a few Star Wars back there, has been hindered a bit. But I did pre-order the Prince Shizor figure from the Star Wars Black Series, and when they do the Dash Rendar, I'm definitely going to get that too. But that's Legends, that's not Disney Star Wars. So for me, Disney has really damaged the brand, and it takes a lot to get me to watch Star Wars. Like, I've said this a few times, I still haven't checked out Andor yet, and that's supposed to be really good, but it's just kind of like, I'll get to it when I get to it. I'm not excited about Star Wars like I used to be, and that honestly makes me very sad. But yeah, sorry for I don't know why my throat's scratchy. Next up, one thing that's cool, so the last podcast last week, talking about the FOMO and everything with the 30th anniversary, Sony of Japan is doing something a little bit different than the US to try to prevent scalping. So in order to buy a PS5 Pro, the anniversary edition, mind you, you have to have at least 30 hours of play on your PSN for your PS4 or PS5 account. So scalpers just aren't going to be able to buy up a bunch of the PlayStations, because if they don't have that 30 hours on their account, they can't buy one. So that's pretty cool. At least Sony of Japan did something to try to prevent scalping. Like I said, the best way to prevent scalping is every PS5 Pro, since it's coming out during the 30th anniversary, should have been that throwback classic gray and black with the classic PlayStation logo on there. That's what they should have done from the start. That way everyone could get one. Now I'm hoping, like, especially for like us early adopters of the PS5, I hope we can get some faceplates, because that would be kind of cool. That's what I would do. I'm not paying $500, $800 a system for a cool looking design. Like, in fact, I just ordered today a cherry transparent case for my N64 and a blue transparent case for my Sega Dreamcast. So look for those modding videos, the how-to, coming up. Not soon, because they're not going to get here for a couple weeks, because I ordered them from AliExpress. But probably in November, I'll probably have those videos up. I want to get some colors in there, because I got the purple and orange GameCube down there. So then I'm going to have a red N64. I'm going to have a blue Dreamcast. That will go with the black Wii, the white Wii U, the white PlayStation 5. But my Xbox is down below the desk. So, I mean, that's not over there to go with the colors. I got to get some lighting done under there. I'll take some cool pictures, post them on Instagram once it's all done. But that'll give a cool, like, little array of colors. And you can see, got the platinum GameCube there. I never thought of all the systems, especially, I knew it would be Nintendo systems, but of all the systems, the one I would own the most consoles of would be the damn GameCube. That's just funny to me, because Super Nintendo and N64 are probably my two favorite Nintendo systems, but I've got 3 GameCubes somehow. So, again, one of those GameCubes was a gift from friend of the show, Gabby. Thank you, Gabby, once again. But yeah, so Sony of Japan's doing it right. They are making sure PlayStation fans get these special edition PlayStation consoles at retail price, at MSRP. So good on you, PlayStation. I'm actually proud of Sony. I don't think I've ever said that. But yeah, just in kind of Sony adjacent news, the Sony PlayStation exclusive Final Fantasy IX might be getting a remake. There was the leak list not too long ago from oh damn it, I can't think where the leak list came from. I'm sorry, I should have wrote that down. It's not in my notes. There's a lot in my, is it in my notes? Oh, Nvidia. Yep, it was in my notes. The Nvidia leak document about a possible Final Fantasy IX remake. And as Final Fantasy IX being my favorite Final Fantasy, I hope they do it, but I don't want to do it like Final Fantasy Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That has been like I blew through the first remake game, but Rebirth, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I'm really dragging through. I think I might be halfway through it, but I bought that on launch, and I just kind of play it every once in a while. Like I don't play it that often, as much as I would like. So if they do Final Fantasy IX remake, Square just remake the game, like shot for shot remake, just updated graphics, stuff like that. Maybe keep the action in there. Kind of maybe do it kind of like Final Fantasy 16, where you can kind of control everybody. You don't switch back and forth between characters, but maybe you can do that. I don't know if you want to do the action route, but let's make it one game. Let's not do a trilogy. Let's not do part 1, part 2. Let's make it one game, okay? I think we can do that, Sony. I think we can do that. So, well, actually, this is more Sony adjacent news because the last topic we're going to talk about today is the IGN posted or tweeted this on X. With the arrival of the first trailer for Season 2 of HBO's The Last of Us TV show, it's important to remember that it's okay for the series to deviate from how the game played out. And I when I read this, I was like thinking, like, no joke, Pedro Pascal is the star, and killing him off would gravely hurt the show. I think a lot of people would check out if you killed off Pedro Pascal, and I think a lot of fans of the game, I can take my notes away now, I think a lot of the fans of the game would actually be happy if they didn't kill Joel. Spoiler alert for the game. I don't know if they're going to do it in the show, so no spoilers for the game. But I'm sure if you're watching this, you've played the game, or you at least know the conversation behind the game. So I haven't played Last of Us 2, and I know they killed off Joel. But yeah, a lot of fans were pissed off about that, and I don't blame them, because when you play as these characters in these games, you kind of, you get attached to them. Like I was talking about when I was doing my wrap-up of the PlayStation Showcase. I'm excited for the new Ghost of Tsushima game, Ghost of Yotai, but I'm going to miss Jin. Like, I got used to playing as him. I grew attached to that character, so not playing as that character in the sequel will probably bum me out a little bit, but, I mean, I'm still going to like the game, which I think a lot of Last of Us fans felt when they killed off Joel in the game. They're like, well, I want to play as Joel and Ellie, but I just play as Ellie, and the protagonist character, I don't remember her name, and I'm not even going to care that I don't remember, because again, I'm not a Last of Us fan. I didn't even watch the season 1 of the show because I couldn't get into the game, and I'm like, I'm not going to watch the show. It's going to be super depressing, as the game was. So I don't want to put myself through that. I like to watch happy shows for the most part, and when I want to be depressed, I'll watch the Iron Claw. But yeah, and so I went through the comments from the replies to the tweet. Do we still call them tweets? Are they called X's now? I don't know, because it's called X now. It's not called Twitter. Everyone still calls it Twitter, but do we still call them tweets? I don't know. So I was going through the replies, and a lot of people was like, well, no joke, don't kill off Pedro Pascal. That was dumb. It was dumb for the game to kill off Joel. But then some people complain, like, no, if you're going to adapt a video game, you should adapt it as is, kind of thing like that, which, honestly, I don't see the point of doing that, because as a fan of the game, you already know everything that's going to happen, and not taking any liberties with that adaptation wouldn't it make it a bit boring? Like, of course, like, I read Game of Thrones and I watched the show, read Lord of the Rings, read The Hobbit, watched the movies, but like those creators, and I'm not going to touch on the last couple seasons of Game of Thrones, but those creators adapting, they left characters out, they add characters in, they make certain characters have bigger roles, just because when you're telling a story in a different medium, things need to change a little bit to fit the medium. So also, it gives you a chance to right wrongs, because sometimes you do something in a novel, in a game, something like that, you kill a character or something like that, and then you regret doing that. So, like, Jurassic Park's a perfect example. John Hammond is killed off in the book, but he survives, and he's a slightly different character in the movie. So, you change things around and you kind of make it better. Same with Ian Malcolm. He dies, or presumed dead, in the first book, but they bring him back for the sequel. kind of thing like that, because such a popular character. So you can kind of do these things when you do adaptions. You can change it around, make it flow better, maybe change things a bit. And since a lot of fans did not like Joel dying in the game, you keep him alive in the show. Boom, you appease those fans, and you can tell a different story. Because again, the story in 2, a lot of diehard Last of Us fans did not like that story. So now is Sony, HBO, Warner Brothers, their chance to tell a slightly different story with those same characters people like, and you keep Joel around, and you can tell a completely different story with him, and maybe even Joel and Ellie go off on a different path and such. So, I mean, that's what you kind of do with adaptions. You gotta change it up slightly. I mean, Lord of the Rings is not a one-for-one telling. Lord of the Rings, and in some cases, that's better. It's better than the books. So this has the chance to be better than the sequel game, and I'm sure they want to do more than 2 seasons. And how long it takes to make AAA games now, they're probably going to be doing season 3 before we get a Last of Us Part 3, if there's even going to be a Last of Us Part 3. So keeping Joel alive gives you a chance to tell, more stories with Joel, and, maybe Joel and Ellie go on diverging paths, and, you can split one season up with Joel, one season up with Ellie, and tell A, B stories with them separated, kind of things like that. So it gives the showrunners a chance to do something more creative than what they could do with the game, and they can tell different and better stories within that universe, which I think is good for the show. Now, again, I'm not a giant fan of the game, so I'm not the best one to talk about whether they should keep it one-to-one to the games or do something different. But I think doing something different, I think, will benefit, and it will also make the diehard game fans, it'll give them something new, give them surprises. They won't know what happens now. And I think that's always good when you're watching like suspenseful drama or dramatic shows, is being surprised. And so that way game players and non-game players, they can kind of go on this journey together, and neither one of them knows what's going to happen next. So yeah, so that's my thought on that. That is, it's going to be a short podcast today. I'll probably do one later in the week because this is going to go up on Wednesday. I'll probably do one for Friday or something like that. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts on all of that. Do you think Star Wars is a damaged brand? What do you think about The Last of Us possibly doing something different with Season 2 than the sequel game did? Let me know in the comments below. If you made it this far, why not give a like and a subscribe? Because obviously you enjoy hearing me talk. But yeah, so as always, thank you for watching, and you have a great rest of your day. Bye.